Hey everybody, doing an audio check. Let me know if you can hear me okay in chat, and then we'll get this party started. Hopefully you can hear me okay. 5 by 5, EG says. All right, give me 1 second and we'll be back to it. All right, hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me know if you cannot. How's everybody doing today? I'm working with a new camera, new setup. My computer melted, what was it, about 2 weeks ago now, and I had to rebuild a lot of stuff. So it's a little bit of a process. So hopefully everything works for this stream here. So again, my music, my Spotify playlist is not working right now. Funny enough, because it is not importing the STARJUMP music. I could play other music, I guess, but it's not doing the STARJUMP music. So yeah, bear with me. Anyways, hope you're all doing well. I thought I would chime in a bit. I was going to stream last week, but again, it's taken me a little bit longer to get all the stuff plugged back in. I had to reinstall OBS, get all my alerts set back up, all that crap. In addition to that, I'm planning a StarJump Station episode very soon, and I want to do some Invictus launch week coverage stuff. So I've been not only building my personal stream stuff, but the StarJump Station stuff as well. So again, it just takes a little while to sort of get all that going. That being said, I'm going to move my camera over a tad. Got slipped over. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week so far? Hopefully well. Got a lot of you in chat. Nice to see you all. I see Ender poking in. There's Mud Dog. Mud Dog, I feel bad, my friend. I do owe you some work. I know that. And for that, I apologize. The last 6 months have been crazy. I can't even sort of begin to tell you what the last 6 months has been like. Everything from family emergencies to work emergencies to new dog to traveling to just all kinds of stuff. But things are starting to get back into kind of a normal cadence again. So you should start seeing me a lot more. I will go ahead and point out that this particular episode tonight, I'm going to be going over a few things with you. I'm going to be talking about the Equinox event in June that I will be attending, and there'll be a pretty big STARJUMP presence at. I'm going to talk about the Invictus launch week trailer teaser that just released a couple days ago. We'll take a look at that. And then we'll just sort of roundabout talk about Invictus launch week ships, what we might expect, what's likely, what's unlikely, and maybe the reasons why. So again, everyone in chat, thanks for stopping by, saying hello. Does my video look okay? Does it look clear or blurry or blown out or anything like that? I mean, it's always blown out because I'm super bright skinned. So I don't get enough sun, but hopefully everything looks good. It definitely looks different to me, but yeah, whatever. You look like you need a doctor. That's not a good comment. That's bad. That's bad. Its brighter skin is a bit more pale, albino. Okay, those are all. Here's the thing: those are accurate. There's nothing inaccurate about that. But I am going to go into my gamma things. See, the funny thing is I've already brought down the brightness quite a bit. It's kind of crazy, but we're going to try a little adjustment here. How's that? That's probably a little less intense. Plus my shirt's darker, which is good. Yeah, I know. I probably need to turn down the lights a little bit. So I'm working on the lights. So for those of you who don't know, lights have a for green screen, at least professionally, lights really should be at a certain temperature. I think it's 4500K. And actually, one second, everybody. I'm going to pop on my standby. Oh, too loud, too loud. I'm going to turn that down. Bear with me, bear with me. Okay, there we go. Put on a little music. Yep, looks better. Ridiculous says. I'm going to go with ridiculous. And I am brighter in real life. That is true. One friend described me as transparent. I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Marcus Lux55, salute to you. I hope you are well. Thanks for stopping by. I am STARJUMP Grim. For those of you that are possibly new to hanging out with me tonight, I am one part of the STARJUMP group. We make all kinds of content for Star Citizen and the community. We do, obviously, we've created the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. If you haven't checked that out, please do. We have a Discord, we have a Twitter, we have a YouTube channel with a bunch of different shows, everything from fan-made cinematics to fleet builders to STARJUMP Shipyard, STARJUMP Station. You can go look and find all that stuff on there. Lots of great stuff. But we've been a little dormant the last 6 months. But that's partially because we just had a lot of real life things going on. But we're hoping to change that, and with all of your help, we will. So thanks for hanging out and stopping by and talking ships with me. Those of you that know me know I really enjoy talking ships. Big shout out to everyone on YouTube. We got 35 already watching on YouTube, so thank you so much over on the YouTube side of things. Really love you, everyone on YouTube. Obviously, YouTube is one of our primary platforms for our long form content. And then, of course, massive thanks to all the Twitch people watching. I am doing restream, so I'm streaming to both right now. That is key. Another thing I want everyone to remember is STARJUMP Ender is in chat. He's working right now, but STARJUMP Ender is in chat. He is doing his Twitch St. Jude Play Live thing on his Twitch channel. He's got a Tiltify link. Ender, I don't know if you have that handy. I don't at the moment. I'm not super prepared tonight, but Ender can post that Tiltify link at some point here in chat. Definitely go over there. Donate if you can to help these kids in need. Ender's doing some absolutely amazing work on the St. Jude's side of things. So raising money for kids. I don't forget how much money, I think through Star Citizen alone, there's the Tiltify link. Thank you, Ender. Through Star Citizen alone, Ender's already done 10K total Ender 2,200 for this push, but total I think 10 or 11k. Yeah, which is just, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you think about 13, okay, think about that, everyone. That's 4 javelins worth of fundraising. And Ender's only been doing this a couple years, so that's just amazing. And then remember, Ender does charity stuff for veterans and other great causes. In total, he's risen a lot more money than that. So, just an amazing feat by an amazing guy, a true brother. So big shout out to Ender. Obviously, go visit that Tiltify link and donate if you can. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get into some of what we're here to talk about tonight. Like I said, we're going to look at the Invictus launch week teaser. We're going to talk about some ILW ships. We're going to talk about Equinox, okay, the Equinox event in June that I will be at. And we're going to give a slight little update on STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. So let's talk about that first. Let's start there. We, as you know, it's been mentioned in some of the Spectrum channels that obviously Invictus launch week is a pretty busy time for the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer team. Just a minute, everyone. I'm going to adjust my crop settings on my camera. I really apologize. It's a busy time for the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer team. Thank you, Citizen Joel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the compliments, everyone. If you haven't followed the channel, please do. Follow us on our YouTube, follow us on our Twitter, where all of our stuff goes out. But the STARJUMP Fleet Viewer team will be working very hard during the Invictus launch week time period to get all the newest ships that are announced or updated into STARJUMP Fleet Viewer as quickly as possible. Obviously, if there's any concept ships, those tend to take a little bit longer because I have to do them usually from scratch. If they're flight ready or in the game files, we process them through StarFab with VMXEO, and VMXEO usually gets those out super quick. So, what does that mean for STARJUMP Fleet Viewer? Well, from the get-go, we are definitely going to have the Mirai Pulse and the Mirai Pulse LX. Those are actually already finished for Fleet Viewer. I confirmed and prepped them today. Those will be going to Starlet very soon. I don't know if I have a preview up I can show you, but I think you know what? Do I? Let's see. I might have one I could show you. I don't have them all up and ready because I wasn't totally prepped for this, but I can give you an example here. Let me switch to my main screen. Did I even add a screen here? Probably did not, but that's okay. We're gonna do that now. Does everyone want to do that with me? We're gonna do just a second. I appreciate everyone bearing with me. Yep, that looks good. Let me scale this down a little bit so it's not too big, and you'll get there is the Mirai Pulse. This one will. That's not what I wanted to do. Stand by, everybody. I'm screwing up again. Let's switch to this screen. And we will add this spike. I see again, I told you, I'm setting this up on the fly. I told you it was going to be a little rough here in the beginning. Let me scale that back down. Doesn't everyone hate it, though, when your computer shits the bed and you've got to pretty much rebuild everything from scratch? Always fun. Okay, let's go here. So this is the Pulse, the Mirai Pulse that will be in STARJUMP Fleet Viewer, one of the angles. We also will be doing the Pulse LX. So big shout out to VMXEO for processing these so quickly. Once they hit the game files, we were quick to jump on them and get them processed. A few little things I have to do to them on their way to STARJUMP Fleet Viewer proper. They have to be what's known as conformed, and the conformed process requires me to size them and crop them in a very specific way in order to get them into Fleet Viewer to the correct scale. And with this being one of those ships that everyone's going to want to see if it fits, if it sits, that we want to make sure we get the scale correct. So there we go. In addition to that, we will be let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the out of the way. The elephant in the room out of the way. I'll go ahead and flip back to this. This will be in the trailer we're about to watch. This is obviously the mighty RSI Polaris, which we know will make an appearance at the ILW, at least in external only, external hull state. But what that does mean is it means it will be in the game files. And we'll be able to use StarFab to process that and get the updated Polaris into Fleet Viewer during ILW, even though it won't be flight ready, which will be absolutely awesome. I see Kragan says, is the PTV scale still off? Kragan, I am not sure if we fixed that, but I will put that on the list right now, and I'll make sure that it gets fixed during this ILW update we do to Fleet Viewer. I do know that the 32 SCU cargo crates are off scale, though, and we need to fix those pretty quickly. So I'll make sure that gets processed. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Okay, so yes, Polaris will obviously be updated into STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. Whatever other ships are pushed as well. Pretty certain that there's going to be a Retaliator update pushed, and we'll get into that when we talk ILW. But again, if that gets updated, we will of course update in Fleet Viewer. Okay, so we are going to flip over to, we're just going to kind of jump right into it. You know what, actually before we talk this, let's switch over to, we're going to switch over to the Equinox part of this discussion. Let me, just a minute, I'm going to bring that up now. I'm going to bring it up on the web so that you can all see it. Let me switch over to my, let's see, I got too many windows, everyone, too many damn windows. Okay, Equinox. Here we go. This is an event that takes place in Columbus, Ohio on June 1st. It will take place at the COSI Museum, otherwise known as the Center of Science and Industry, right here in Columbus, Ohio. Is anyone in chat, is anyone going to Equinox? Chime in if you are. Ender, you'll be there in spirit, my friend. I can promise you that. We may even make a paper mache sort of cutout of you to stand behind the booth. But is anyone in chat going to be here at Equinox in June? Bingo is going. Definitely Bingo is going. Some of them for us did bring up a great question. Okay, with ILW now being 2 weeks long, should we still be calling it ILW? Yeah, it's a good question, my dog. That's a good question. Lobster Mac will be there. Well, good news. If you're going to be at Equinox, I will be there too. I will be, there'll actually be a STARJUMP booth. And Astro says, what is Equinox? I'm right next to Columbus. Oh, Astro, well, let me tell you about it. Equinox is quite possibly the largest community-made Star Citizen event in the United States. Possibly the world, with the only exception being the Chinese one, and possibly Beacon, although Beacon is not just solely Star Citizen, it's science fiction as well. But Equinox is a huge event. You can buy your tickets. The website is, let me grab the website and I'll paste that into chat. You really should go. Last year, CIG went. There were members of CIG there. They have giveaways, contests. JRDF will be there. Again, it's in 25 days on June 1st. It's an all-day event. There's also a Bar Citizen the night before, and they have a really cool after party. You can see here it's sponsored by some really great people. Cloud Imperium Games is a partner. JRDF, StarFab, obviously, Haskaha, Tobii Eye Tractor, Predator Mounts, the whole thing. You can see here pictures from the past events. I'll go ahead and play this trailer. I'm going to turn off the music here, but I'll let this trailer play. But it's just a really, really cool event. Everyone there it's all about Star Citizen. There's just a lot of really cool stuff. If you do buy a ticket, you actually get a pretty cool swag bag that comes with some cool freebie stuff, all Star Citizen related. It's always in Columbus, Ohio. That is true, and you'll see here there's Galactica. Again, CIG people are in attendance usually. It's a huge event. They're expecting about 300 people this year. There's Jake Acapella at the last year's event. Again, they give away big, there's a Mercury Star Runner tapestry they gave away, all kinds of stuff. The cool news, though, is that I will be there this year. There'll be a huge STARJUMP booth. We're going to have giveaways at the STARJUMP booth. You can come away. We're going to have some free stuff at the booth, posters and stuff. I'll show you that in just a minute. It's a huge LAN party. I think they have over 150 machines set up for a giant kind of LAN event, Star Citizen LAN event. Last year, Enterprise was there, live streaming. So again, it's a big deal. You can see some of the planning here going into it. It's going to be really cool. Hey, Fast Car, hope you're well. Salute to you, buddy. So yeah, big after party. It's at a science museum. How cool can that be? Anyways, there we go. There'll be alcohol. I'm sure. But anyways, that is Equinox. I will switch over now. I'm going to switch over and show you all. I'm going to show you all the STARJUMP. Who wants to see the STARJUMP booth? I'm pretty proud of how it's come out. Let me show you all. Okay, stand by. There we go. It's calculating up now. I went ahead and planned out the STARJUMP booth in 3D so that I could get a sense of the space and how much I need to fill. To give you an idea too, these are huge banners. This one's almost 8 feet tall. This one back here is 10 feet tall by 10 feet wide. We're going to have a holographic display here showing Star Citizen ships all rotating in 3D. We're going to have multiple posters that are free giveaways. We'll have free stickers. I think I made stickers for the Idris, the Kraken, and the Pioneer. There's also STARJUMP stickers. If you've ever seen some of our cool poster giveaways that we do, I'll be giving away pretty much all those posters at the event. It's going to be really cool. Put a little bit of money into the actual booth layout, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. Again, if you're going to Equinox, please stop by the booth, say hello, introduce yourselves. Tell me you watch the streams or that you enjoy STARJUMP content, and it would be great to kind of meet some of you face to face. There also, you'll see a little sign right here. I'll zoom into it. That sign is right here. Let me grab it. That sign is this sign right here that will be on the booth. As you see, I've been getting materials in that I ordered. You will be able to grab a free ticket, a raffle ticket. You don't have to put money in for it. And then at the end of Equinox, later in that day, I will pull a ticket. Whoever wins will get a custom livery in STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. You'll get to design it along with me, and then that livery will go into Fleet Viewer. So kind of a cool thing to do. We used to do custom liveries back when we were sort of raising money to develop Fleet Viewer, and then we stopped. So it's kind of hard to get a custom livery in Fleet Viewer now, but this is one of the ways. So anyways, that is the booth. You will be able to see myself and maybe a few other STARJUMP community members wearing STARJUMP t-shirts, and say hello to us. We'll get you in the raffle, and hopefully you can win some prizes and take home some free stuff. Okay. Yeah, Astro, I hope you can make it, man. I really hope you can make it. Let's see here. Wamblissimo says custom livery is available to everyone or just the person who designed it. It's available for everyone. And the way that works is, I'm going to switch over to Fleet Viewer here. When you go to the add ship option up here at the top right, these are all, when it says official only, you see this checkbox, that's all the CIG stuff. If you uncheck that, it opens up a lot of like fan stuff, like custom stuff. So if I type in Kraken, you get the Kraken and the Kraken Privateer. But if you uncheck this check mark, you'll get the Fatty Shack Kraken, which is like a special fan Kraken, which is this, So that's kind of how it works. If you were to, let's say, merchantman, if you were to do the official only merchantman, you just see the standard merchantman. But if you unclick official only, you can get the fast cart merchantman, which is in STARJUMP Fleet Viewer. So anyways, that's kind of how that works. It is available to everyone. That's just the nature of how Fleet Viewer works. Nothing in Fleet Viewer is sort of locked behind a wall or anything to anyone. So RB, I would love to do a web store for the posters and the liveries. I actually would do that if I was allowed to. CIG will not let me sell anything with ship art on it, so I can't actually do a web store. Believe me, 100% agree with you. I would if I could. We have an agreement with CIG and CIG lawyers in regards to Fleet Viewer and the assets in it, because while they're assets that we take from game and then half of them are assets I've pretty much created from scratch, they're still assets that are representing original IP. So we don't want to cross that Rubicon, and get on the bad side of CIG with that. Okay, so that's Equinox. If you're not going, if you're anywhere near Columbus, Ohio, I really encourage you to go. It's a really cool event. And then stop by the STARJUMP booth and meet me. Let's say hello to each other. I'd love to meet fans of STARJUMP and just other people in the SC community. So definitely don't hesitate to come up and say hello. All right, let's start on the Invictus launch week trailer. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Hopefully you all hear the audio. Let me play just a short bit of this and you tell me if you all can hear the audio. Can you hear the audio? Let me know if you can hear it. Oh, thank you for the follow, Juan Bellissimo. Really appreciate it. Hey, Execute. Hope you're well, buddy. Salute. Juan Bellissimo, thank you for that follow. Execute from Info Runners fame is in chat. Everyone say hello. Hope you're well. Everyone heard the audio. Okay, we'll play the video real quick. I'm playing it in After Effects for kind of a specific reason. So sorry, ignore that. All right, here we go. Let me go ahead and preview this. Takes a second to preview. Bear with me. Okay, it's almost done previewing. We're gonna preview it in After Effects so that I can step through it with frame precision. I'm sure most of you have already watched the trailer multiple times already, like myself. I know a lot of other streamers, I believe Info Runners did have done kind of exposés on the trailer already. So no big giant mysteries here. But let's actually, you know what? Bear with me, everyone. Bear with me. I am going to... We're going to do this a different way. We are going to do this. We'll watch it through YouTube, and then we will switch over to After Effects. That's probably the better way of doing it. So let me switch over here. All right, let's watch it down, and we'll talk about it afterwards, and we'll get into it. You did that when it came out today, Execute? Okay, cool. I'll definitely give that a watch. I love when you guys speculate on the ships, so I definitely will give that a watch. All right, let's watch this, and we'll be right back. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Execute. I think the music. I mean, they really they're on point with this one. The music was incredible. A lot of their music now really does feel like it's getting better and better. Almost very very aspirational, obviously, in this one, which fits perfectly with the Invictus theme. And then with the most recently the F7 commercial with the music they used for that, sort of the Top Gun inspired music, was just fantastic. CIG's like really knocking it out of the park with their audio stuff. So, let's see here. Salty Dog. Let's see what is. Yeah, spoke to Griffin. Okay, cool. Salty, am I missing something? Salty, let me know. Oh, Salty Dog, he says you won a poster in raffle on Soul Citizen anniversary stream and never received it. Okay, let's check that right now. Okay. Stand by, Salty. We'll get to the bottom of this. Okay, Salty. Sorry about that. We did switch merch processors a couple of months ago, and when I did that, some leftover orders were still with the old merch, but I had already taken off my payment process for now, and I'd taken my payment processing off for the old merch store. So some posters, I had about 8 posters that never went out to people, so I'm catching up on that. I just sent you a DM on Twitch. Check your Twitch messages up at the top. I just sent you a message. Get me your contact information through there. I'll send you the poster you won, and then I'll also send you an extra poster that's a different poster. I'll send you an extra little addition for being late on this first one. Okay, so get in contact with me through that DM, and I'll make sure I'll process that tomorrow. That's not a problem. Accept my apologies on that. There were a few posters I that got lost in the mix, and I was hoping it wasn't one of the ones that I gave away through Soul Citizen. So really apologize for that, Salty. I will make it up for you. I'll get you a little STARJUMP swag in there in addition to the poster. Cool. All right. Oh, it's Mr. STARJUMP. Hope, how you doing? Okay, so let's finally get to this trailer. Let's see here. Bonco says STARJUMP. Oh, mine never got sent, and I just realized I need to update my address with you. Okay, update your address with me, and it will go out tomorrow. I'll process posters tomorrow. My new merch store, by the way, the one that processes STARJUMP's new stuff, is really good. They get stuff out really quickly. Once I process the order, it ticks over, and they create the poster and ship it out, usually within 4 to 5 days. So Von Cody, ping me or DM me through Twitch here. Get me your information, and I'll make sure that's processed tomorrow. No delay. Same with you, Salty. Okay, let's see here. Let's go through what we got here. Obviously, the trailer opens up. AMD, yes, there will possibly be some manufacturer pack sales, but that's usually during IAE. I know Execute's in the chat, though, and can maybe even can probably answer that even more. Feathers, are you the one that wanted the all ships one? Were we the one waiting for you? Where you were trying to get, was that the one with the all ships thing? Send that to me. Maybe you're all in chat tonight who are owed one. Shoot me your information again, Feathers, and I'll process it tomorrow, regardless if it's in the hopper or not. I do know I owe you one. We'll definitely take care of that. I do want to catch up on these posters, though. So seriously, if you're owed a poster and haven't received it yet, you're probably on the old merch store, and it hasn't been processed because of the payment thing. So please recontact me. Get me your information so I can process it tomorrow. Kavotha, you as well. Do that tonight if you can. Send me a DM in Discord or a DM through Twitch. Really appreciate it, guys. Okay. Let's get to it. Trailer opens up obviously on F7C, it looks like, because I don't see the top turret. F7C coming in. We see the fleet back here. Looks like we got two hammerheads, two hammerheads, a Polaris, some F7A Mark IIs, and the F8, the F8s. Let's see here. So we're flying, and then we get our very first glimpse of the Polaris in its external form. Now, here's something that's pretty important about this shot and why this is kind of a big deal. And I've seen some people, I saw someone on Twitch mention the other day that they thought it was kind of funny that everyone was going crazy over the Polaris in the trailer. Well, it's not really surprising. Of course, people were going to go crazy. But the more interesting thing about it is this is actually the first time we've seen the Polaris exterior that wasn't a painting. What does that mean? If you go back to all the Polaris concept art from the early days, and I can probably bring some of that up. As a matter of fact, I'll work on that now. If you look at that old concept art, it's actually not real exterior. They just painted on top of a 3D model, and that's why the images look different from one to another. Because if you look at them, they're all kind of different. Let's see if I have some of those available. Well, here's a good one here. Let me switch over. This image right here was a 3D model, but what happened was they did just a very basic 3D rendering with no decal work, no panel lines or whatever, and then all this is just painted on top, probably in Photoshop or something like that. A lot of this detail work probably wasn't even there. It was just all painted in. So it really wasn't, I don't think even CIG knew what the exterior of this looked like beyond the very basic kind of maybe some basic panel lines and some basic hull details. A lot of the intricate detail, though, the really intricate Greeble stuff, I think CIG was still pretty unaware of, right? So this is the first time that we're seeing that level of detail on the ship, and I think that's why it's a big deal to people. A lot of people that have owned this ship for a long time, they've yet to see it with this level of detail, right? You can see most everything is intact from the original concept. We have the three port side main engines, the three starboard side main engines. Two of them there's one on the bottom, one on the top, and then a big center one. So if you look at the Polaris from the rear, it's got three primary main thrusters. Other details that you can kind of see in this that are kind of interesting that I thought was, to me, it looked like the top hangar door had gotten flatter and almost inset a little bit, where the original artwork, it concaved out just slightly. There was a slight elevation to it, and that makes me think that possibly the hangar has changed a bit further from what we've seen it even last time. Execute says, the current scene you have up of the Polaris, if you frame by frame, I think you can see they changed the door back to the concept door of the hangar. Let me see. Oh yeah, okay, so that's sort of what I'm talking about now. Yeah, look, well, right there it looks like there's a center seam, so maybe it's opening in the center again, back how the original was. Is that what you mean, Execute? That'd be interesting. I know in the most recently seen images or video, the hangar went forward and backward and opened up, which I didn't love. I didn't love that. That's interesting. Yeah, you're right, Execute. It was front and backwards, so that's pretty interesting. But if you look right here, you see how this really sharp angle of the hangar door and this sloping side? I don't remember it being that sharp previously. So that's kind of interesting to see. I do think the ship underwent some changes there. And it could be our angle and it could be the way the light is hitting it, but it does look like a rather abrupt angle there. Kind of strange, but I like it. It's fine. I love all the lighting and all the extra greebles and panel work on here. The Polaris, I mean, in this very brief shot, is looking to shape up nicely. Let's see here. Well, we have oh my goodness, we've got a raid. Let's see, who's raiding? Captain Serious Fun just raided the channel with 27 viewers. Captain Serious Fun, thank you so much. Salute to you. Really hope you're doing well. How was your stream tonight? Thank you for stopping by, Captain Serious Fun. We are going over the ILW trailer. Again, welcome to all of your viewers. Yo Meg, I see you in there. Hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by, hanging out, everybody. We're inspecting the ILW trailer and seeing how the Polaris looks, some other ships that are previewed in it, and sort of just generally talking about the ships that may come with Invictus launch week. So welcome everybody. Hope you're well. Follow the channel if you haven't already. I am going to, let's see here, stand by. Let's see. Stand by one. I think I saw you execute. If you want to jump in a party one on our Discord, I'll drag you down the stream chat if you want. Yeah, feel free to jump in and party one though if you want to execute. I will be taking breaks because I gotta take the dog out in a little bit, but okay, let's see here. Sorry, I'm adjusting some windows, everybody. Yo Meg, how are you? Captain Serious Fun, thank you again so much for that raid. You are legendary. I will return that favor very soon. Thank you so much. Yo, hope you're doing well. I'm going to drag Execute over. We'll talk to him for a bit. It's Execute. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear me?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right. So you released a video today on ILW ships?
Yep. But yeah, we went through this trailer as well, so I was just curious to know if there's anything you spotted that we didn't, and vice versa. Just always good when you bounce it off someone. You know?
Yeah. I mean, overall, your assessment of the hangar door, I think, is spot on. It does look like they changed that back. Let me adjust Execute's volume here, everyone. Hopefully you can hear it. Try talking, Execute.
I was just gonna say, do you think that's got anything to do with the height of the hangar at all? The door?
Well, you know, that's a great point. I think that's the $1 million question, because what we learned, and what I had heard through some internal murmurings, was that the hangar in the Polaris was no longer nearly as tall as it used to be in the original concept. And
I think it's got to be open to kind of like service the vehicles. It can't kind of close.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit different from the Odyssey in that regard.
Yeah, and I think one of the big reasons, again, just based off some stuff I heard, one of the big reasons the hangar got less tall, shorter, was that that more room in the ship was given over to engineering, and I think that has that kind of highlights CIG's views on resource management. They know it's a big deal, and they have a lot of plans for it. So I think dedicating more of the internals of the ship to resource management was just a thing they wanted to do, rather than just empty hangar space. Yeah, it does.
You're going to spend more time when you're on the ship doing that. Like that hangar, no offense to the people that kind of use it, you're turning up just to leave again.
Exactly. And I would not be shocked to see the Odyssey receive that same sort of adjustment, because it just comes down to usable hangar space. Now, the Odyssey is a much different ship, but we'll see. But I do think that,
I push back on that a little. Doesn't it give it a bit of a separation if you leave it big like it is, though? So you can land taller ships. Like, for example, we know the Legionnaire is technically now the same pad as that ship. So, and that's 10 meters tall.
Yeah.
So do you still want it to be able to land in something like an Odyssey? Like, and that would give a differentiation between the Polaris and the Odyssey.
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely an interesting point. I guess it sort of depends too on the Odyssey's layout and where the engineering components
Yeah.
sit. I think specifically on the Polaris, something had to give because I think engineering always occupied the underneath space there, and as engineering resource management became more important, that got bigger, and then they just sort of said,
Yeah.
well, you know what, why not shorten the space here? And I think that's also why we're going to lose the elevator landing pad on the Polaris. Originally, it had an elevator system. I think that's going to be gone. I think we're just going to land in the ship now. So,
isn't it a ramp? Like, I'm pretty sure I saw something about a ramp
on the Polaris.
Yeah,
So the Polaris has the side ramp for the access to the cargo bay, and I actually am starting to think it might have dual side ramps on both sides of the ship, which would allow drive-through access, which would be kind of interesting.
No,
so
I think
for subscribing.
I think that would be preferential to a lift. Like, it would speed it up.
Yeah,
it'd speed up loading and unloading.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, with cargo loading, I think that would be a smart consideration. So trekking along here, I'm going to go past some of these. We'll circle back to these, but you get brief shots of the Polaris here. Obviously, we have what's possibly the medical Ursa, probably the worst kept secret in all of Star Citizen. People have been talking about it for years. Be a nice
the name, by the way, is Nursa. It came out in our chat on Friday, and I know Captain Serious Fun was trying to claim that he came up with it, but I first heard it in our chat on our live stream, and someone just said Nursa, and it's just stuck.
Well, I think it's probably guaranteed itself a really good chance at being, whatever it is, the Best in Show vehicle next year. Do they even do vehicles for the Best in Show? Have they ever?
They just don't tend to get into the vote.
Yeah,
that's the problem. They're just not that popular. I want like a how you got the Heart Seeker with the pin up thing on the side. I want that, but I want it to kind of say "Hello Nurse" on the side. Like, I think that would be how I would do that one.
Well, if they would just let us customize our damn paints. So yeah, I think we're seeing the outside of that. I'm not expecting anything revolutionary with the medical Ursa. I think it's going to be the C8R with wheels. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good addition to have. I think any medical gameplay focused player is going to want this in their arsenal. But I wouldn't expect any big surprises with it. So
give me a second. I can probably send you a link if I can find it.
Sure.
But basically, the very last page of the jump point. Do you have access to jump point?
Let's see. Do I have access to? I do, but I don't know if I have access to it like right now.
So basically, if I can find it, I had it in a chat window, but I think it was when we were doing Captain's Table. But basically, the very last page of the jump point, it's very blurry.
Yeah.
But it basically shows the back of the Nursa with the guy out of the way, but you can tell it's one bed.
Okay, yeah, I got it up now. Switch over to it. Right there. Yeah, very blurry. Brentworth Care Center. Yeah, that is definitely, or so you can see the drop ramp and one bed here on the right-hand side. Some sort of workstation.
Can I ask a small favor?
Sure.
Can you share your screen so I can watch it live so I'm not like 20 seconds behind what you're sharing?
Yes, I can do that. Sharing now. Stand by.
Yeah. Appreciate it. But yeah, you can see that little white bar on the right. Yeah, you got to assume that's the bed, and then on the left-hand side, using what's in the other photo, you can kind of connect the dots, as me and Margaret call it. Like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So again, I think it'll be a decent seller. I don't think it'll be the medical Ursa will break down revolutionary doors or anything. It's going to be a C8R with wheels. Nothing wrong with that. It was probably overdue to have, and I think it can be useful in jump town and doing bunkers and all that stuff. I could see it being pretty useful.
I think it adds like another tool to the tool belt in the ships that can already take the Ursa, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. So so you just like the Carrack. You know how when we look at the modules for the character, we often go, well, what does the ship already do? How do you extend that functionality? Well,
Yeah.
now you know it's got the med bed and stuff. Well, you could take the Ursa one if you're doing like the nurses, sorry, if you're doing like humanitarian missions and there's a
Yeah.
virus, so we need more medical. It's blah blah blah. You get where I'm going.
Yeah. Switching back to this, obviously we of course have the Polaris flying overhead, big and proud. A couple things I did notice here, stopping on this frame, you can see the side loading ramp for the cargo bay right here. This big door with the two lights. This door opens up, big ramp comes out. So it's good to see they kept that side loading ramp. I think that was kind of a unique little thing that the Polaris had about it. It kind of reminds me of the Galaxy's unique kind of back hangar, you know, where the back opens up and you can fly in like that. I do enjoy the RSI, which was a manufacturer I didn't really love when I first started getting into this game, but I've really grown to love now. I love how RSI kind of does things a little differently with some of their ships, and I like to see that carried on through. But so I was really happy to see they kept this from the original concept, because it's in the some of the original concept art. Now the other side is, this ship is symmetrical, so there's no reason to say, you know, there's no reason that it wouldn't just be carried over into the other side, so it's like, you know, drive through. Let's hear, someone says, ouch, heavy stuttering. Hopefully that clears up. Let me see what's going on. Bear with me, everybody. Go ahead, execute.
I was going to say, it's probably like a really nice open cargo bay once both the doors and the ramps are down. I was going to say too, with what you were saying about RSI, I know Algrid's RSI is his favorite manufacturer, so you're not alone in that one.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Everyone, let's see if it lets up here. I don't think it's that Ender. I think it's something else, my dude. It's possibly having to do with After Effects, because After Effects does not like streaming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my other window here and bring it up on YouTube. Not the best way to do it, but that's how we'll do it. That's okay. We'll do it this way. All right, we'll just make this big here. We'll go full screen, and I will close After Effects here. Close Windows.
They're saying it started when you did the screen share, so if you've got to turn it off, man, turn it off.
Oh, maybe the screen share. Yeah, maybe I can stop that. Let's see. We'll try.
Yep. Yeah, it's fine. Just turn it off.
Cool. We'll see if it opens up. I had a lot of stuff going. I don't think it was Restream. Restream's been pretty smooth. Okay, we'll see. Let me know in chat. Okay, PT Mud Dog says fix. I'll go with Mud Dog. So anyways, let me go back to that image there. So yes, I think you can see the side loading view. We can obviously see the side turrets enclosed in those protective armored doors. That's a nice little feature, something again that wasn't on the original concept that we saw in the Finding the North Star episode. I was happy to see they carried that through. Another thing I noticed about this ship that I really like, based off what I've seen in this teaser, is they've really added a lot of little external lighting tidbits on all the winglets, all throughout the hull, up here at the front. If you see pretty much from any shot where they show the ship coming in at a certain angle, there's a lot of lighting detail on it, and it really helps sell the scale of the ship. Another ship that I think needs a pass with that same level of detail is the Idris. The Idris, if you look at it now, it kind of comes across as like it's a really hard ship to get a good sense of scale from a distance, because it's so kind of blocky and angular now. Sometimes it looks small, the way light reflects off of it, and sometimes it looks big from a distance, I'm talking. So I really think that doing some sort of pass with the small external lighting bits that the Polaris has, and apply that to the Idris before that goes PU, would be really, really smart.
Yeah, you're essentially just going back and essentially going, okay, Squadron's kind of done now, adding those details and bringing it up to a more gold passy level for the PU. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with the Javelin, to be honest. Like, you obviously have heard that's in a kind of rework thing. So, yeah, I think it's the same. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, hopefully, by the way, everyone it's smoothed out, smooth as butter now, mates. Okay, cool. Thank you, Stanton Security. Um, so yeah, obviously, really interesting shot. Obviously, they're trying to make a big deal of the Polaris here, even when they're showing other ships like the Ursa and oh, we got another thing here. We got a subscription. Who's subscribing? Death Trooper just subscribed for 4 months in a row. Thank you so much, Death. Um, but here's my thinking about why the Polaris is just shown in so many shots. And this is something I've long thought about with ships like the Polaris. Now, the Polaris is no longer limited. It's anyone can buy it during the events, but at one time it was a limited hull ship, right? You had to get it in the waves. So already the Polaris and other big ships like the Pioneer, the Idris and all that, there's only so many people that own the ship. So CIG has to invest these massive resource drains to create these big ships that are owned by few people. So CIG is going to need to rely on new sales of these ships when they go flight ready at probably a higher price than what us early backers got. So
I'll chuck that out to you then.
yeah.
How much do you reckon it's going to jump?
Well, that's a good question. I hear. Well, I'll finish this thought and then give you that.
That's right.
I think that the Polaris and other big ships, it makes sense for CIG to start showing that ship and promoting that ship early. Like it for a big $750 current ship, whatever cost this thing is. It makes sense that they're showing it now because they need to build up hype for this ship all the way till ILW or sorry IAE or CitizenCon whenever it goes flight ready, because they're going to want to sell a lot of these. Trust me, they don't want to just sell to the people that have already pre-ordered the ship or pledged for the ship. They're going to want flight ready sales.
Absolutely, and I think it'll be like a reoccurring thing as all the RSI ships they're working on go through.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now,
They got to grind that marketing hype machine.
Now let me ask this. I'll ask this to chat, and then we'll talk about it. So, what do we think the Polaris is going to come in at? What's the current price of the Polaris? Is it $750?
That's correct.
$750. Yep. All right, chat. Where do you think the Polaris will come in at flight ready? I think. It's tough. I'm going to say the Polaris is going to come in at, I'm going to say 850 to 900.
Yeah, that was my first thought as well.
I don't think it'll be over 1,000. I'm pretty confident.
Well, I went back and I have to go look at the math again, right? And I can't quite remember exactly what the percentages were, but when I put it through, it was $112 to 235, 45 or something like that. This is based on what they normally jump, right? Based on the percentages, and so that kind of informs you. Yeah, it's a essentially $100 to $250 jump somewhere in there.
Yeah,
which is kind of scary.
Yeah, part of the reason I don't think it will be over 1,000 is I think you do get into there's some tax and financial stuff that starts to happen at that price point in certain countries. It doesn't mean that CIG won't cross it. They obviously have ships that cost more than that, but I think they're going to want to maximize value on this ship or return value on this ship, and they're going to want to sell a lot of them. So I think they're going to come in high, but not so high that it's past 1,000. Could be wrong. I'm completely speculating out of my ass here, but that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know if it's that restrictive, because I go back to this is just a counterpoint to yours. Not that I disagree with you, just a counterpoint.
I like
right?
a good counterpoint.
So when they did the master set, remember when they added, it was like $950, and then they added the additional biopod, and it went over 1,000. So then they retroactively went back and added LTI to all of them. So there's precedence for it. The 890 jumps another one. So as they go over 1,000, they get ATLI. So I'm just trying to sit here going. You can't, that's true. Citizen Ninja's got a good point. You can't give ships over 1,000, so that does limit them.
What I think you will see, however, if the ship does come in, let's say they put the Polaris at 850 war bond, right? I do think
Yeah.
you will see some packages surrounding the Polaris, though. I've noticed that with ships now, they're really trying to
Yep.
maximize packages around them. I 100% think you're going to see
Yep.
a Polaris that comes with a fighter and a Polaris that comes with a fighter and a rover.
I would actually go a step further. I reckon they'll almost, and I don't know how to say this in another way, almost master set that Polaris, and they'll go, here's some like 3 great ships that work really, really well
Yeah.
in the Polaris. They'll go, so here's like a Terrapin, here's like a fighter, and here's like some outlier, and I don't know what that is, but you get my point,
They
right?
could do that. Yeah. Ships that all
yeah.
fit within that. The only reason I was thinking, I could totally see the Polaris coming with a Scorpius and an Ursa, just because it's all RSI family. I could see them theming that.
Yep, agreed.
You know, I could definitely see that happening. Not to say they couldn't mix it up, you know, and do some cyclones or whatever, but I could totally see them doing a little, like, you know, RSI little package, especially since it's like the RSI is like the focus. But
a Mantis as well. Sorry, I just thought of that one. I was thinking, running through all the other little RSI ships that would kind of like work in your little package.
Will the Mantis fit in there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's 30 meters long. It can fit. Yeah, it'll fit.
Yeah,
it'll fit. It should fit with no problem, actually. Yeah, I can maybe the Mantis. That'd be interesting.
I'm trying to think of another ship that's kind of scanning based that's not the Terrapin, because like ever since that thing came out, the Terrapin was like one of the #1 ships we've talked about, just extending that scout ability of the Polaris and using a Terrapin to find targets for the Polaris to, you know, that spear thrust analogy.
It's really interesting looking through people's guesses here, though. We have everything from, you know, 800 on the low end. I think I saw Ender at 1250. I mean, it really could be anything. I have no clue. This is going to be a big bellwether. I mean, I don't think anyone can say for sure what the Polaris is going to come in at, because of a couple things. One, it's the first big, let's call it a capital. I know it's like a sub-capital or the smallest of the capitals. Everyone's got it. Let's just call it a capital, though, because it's got capital components in it. It's a new capital ship. It's a military ship, and it probably punches above its weight a bit.
Absolutely. Just like the Redeemer, I say the same thing.
Exactly.
It punches up. Yep.
So, and it's also, let's be honest, it's going to be, it's like the Merchantman, it's a long-awaited ship.
Absolutely.
It's not like the Arastra. Sure, the Arastra is going to be popular, but it's not long-awaited. You know? So I think with all those details, it'll be interesting to see where CIG's thinking is at, right?
I think the one little thing I'll add to just what you said there is the hangar itself. We haven't really had a ship that is designed around a small hangar specifically.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
we've had things like the 890 jump that's had the 2 snub ones. We've got the Carrack that's got one, but unless I'm forgetting one, there's none that have that. So it puts it in a different ballpark.
Well, you know, Ender brings something up in chat. He says, make a single seat Scorpius for it. That does bring up something, though, that I think we could possibly see during this RSI push, which is a new single seat RSI. I don't want to call it a starter.
You talking about the one from the yellow silhouette video?
See, I think that's a Crusader ship, and for a few reasons. But maybe
before we go into that, we have broken the absolute shit down of that video, and that is the only one that is mysterious at all on that video. And quite frankly, I look at. So I reckon it could be quite a few manufacturers, but when you have head and heart problems, we usually look at the statistics, right? And so if you kind of look at the statistics, they're working on RSI this year. It's a 23.6 meter roughly size ship. It's got cargo on it, so that tends to rule out most fighters, right?
Yeah.
So it brings you back to in that size category. It's roughly an advanced starter by RSI. Yep. If you look over the last couple of years, all the starters like the Cutter, the 2 variants the following year, the Pisces, and the C8R version of that, they all came at the end of the year. Right. So I look at that ship not coming now, but at the end of the year, and also knowing that they're working on all those RSI ships, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, we've still got there's at least 6 of them.
Yeah.
It just seems like a no-brainer. But hell, we could be completely wrong. Yeah, like
It's
if you list the manufacturers: Crusader, Anvil, Aegis, RSI, and I've even had someone say Consolidated Outland.
yeah,
Right? They all are in contention. I would not fight anyone
I'd agree with that.
on them saying that could be one of those.
Yeah, I
There's
think
just not enough information.
there's not enough, and anyone who says they know for sure obviously is grasping. But I will say this: there's one thing about that silhouette
Hmm.
that makes me feel like it's not RSI, and that is that it very likely has VTOLs, and I flip up VTOLs, and there's no RSI ship that has that or even features VTOLs in that way. So I would be
I
very
would
surprised if it is
I would
RSI.
be I would countermand with those what you think of fins off a Crusader ship, right? You're thinking it's like the Spirits VTOL.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had someone bring this up, and I wasn't it wasn't even my idea, but it was a great idea. Is what if they're not fin VTOLs like the Crusader, but what if they're like the ones off the Constellation? So that what we could consider a fin. What if that's actually a lid for the fan motor thing, but
right,
it's just a different shape?
right. It's definitely possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Let me make this full screen again. Sorry, jumping some
Yeah.
windows here. It has some thrusters up top that straight look. They don't look similar to.
Mm.
They don't even look
It's got enough.
similar to Crusader ships. It looks exactly like Crusader thrusters.
Do you see R2D2 on the top? I see R2D2 on the top.
Oh yes, yes, the little real quick here though, moving back to this, obviously we can see the MPUV with the tractor beam attachment. No big surprise here. This is again like
What?
the Ursa, the medical Ursa. These were featured in the video as coming in the next 12
Yep.
months.
What do you think it will be called though? What is the name of that? Because me and Algrid think it's the MPU-R because they had a repair variant way like the very first version of the MPU was
Well,
this repair variant, and in the video it's got the arms, but then in this video it's got the tractor beam.
well, right here the decal on it says MPUV, so I'm assuming it's called the MPUV. Now, that this video could have been made. As a matter of fact, I think
Okay.
this Invictus Launch Week video was made a month or two ago, so the
Okay.
decaling could have changed. I don't look at that as like
Okay,
100%,
so
but I think what
same.
we're seeing here is just the true nature of the MPUV. I actually think the MPUV is just going to be what it is, and it's going to be a modular ship from now on.
That's exactly what we came to the conclusion. So we were like, it's either military variant because it's got the green skin, like other military variants we've seen, like the Gemini and stuff like that, or it is modularity for the MPUV, much like the modulator for the Retaliator. And then we started going, what other ships could we be getting that has modularity?
Well, I forget where it was. On one of the videos, I remember someone on the ship team saying something to the effect of they would like to bring modularity to a lot of ships in some
Yeah.
form. Now, again, I don't necessarily think that has to be entire modular rooms. I think that sometimes just having certain levels of customizability could
Yep.
sort of be considered modularity. A lot of people who've spoken to me have known my thoughts on this, especially in relation to the cargo grids. For example, I think personally you should be able to buy. Is it a tier 3 medical bed that's like the least powerful?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I
Yep.
think you should be able to buy a tier 3 medical bed, for example, and
Mm.
say a power pack for it, a big block that powers it, and maybe that takes
Mm.
up 4 SCU grids or whatever, or 8 SCU grids. As long as you have that space on your cargo grid, you can then install that bed and
Yeah,
power pack
I can
there.
see that.
I mean, that's just one thing. It could be a sim pod. It could be a whatever you want. As long as you have the grid for it, then you could do it. And as long as it's
Even
plugged into the grid, the ship can then power it. Maybe even
Well,
that.
well, well, I was gonna say, don't make it run off the ship power, but make it so it can only run temporary. So you just turn it on when you need it and turn it off. And then if you had essentially a generator that's got to connect to
Yeah.
it. So is it running on fuel or is it running on batteries?
Yeah. See,
Um,
to me, if CIG went that way, right? And think about it like this. Here's another idea for it. Instead of the med bed, what if you could buy an
Mm.
armory locker? Okay, now you can
Yep,
put an
yep.
armory locker on any cargo grid space on a ship that can hold it, and
Mm.
then your ship team, there's almost work offloaded from the ship team because now there can be tons of variants of ships. So, for example, if I had a
Mm.
Caterpillar, I don't need CIG to make all the module variants yet. I can just load it up with armory lockers and some medical beds, and now it's
Yep.
suddenly some sort of like, you know, emergency
Yeah.
medevac, combat medevac ship. Again, you can having that level. To me, I classify that as modularity as well, and I would personally love
Yeah.
to see that. Now,
I think
some
you're
people
not on
say that
the.
that takes away some of the identity of some ships, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I think there's ways to compensate against that. So, for example, I don't think being able to put tier 3 medical beds on a Carrack or a Caterpillar takes away from the Apollo, because the Apollo still is going to have better medical facilities, better beds, better, you know what I mean? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say you're giving up a lot to get those as well, like because you got to take a generator and the bed. But the one I was going to say is like they've pretty much confirmed that with the bounty pods, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
the Avenger Titan, the Avenger Stalker, same price now, and you can kind of see that that's the way they're going.
yeah.
So does that make any ship that's got any form of combat like I put it this way? Can you put a bounty hunting pod now in the back of a Redeemer because it's got two
Well,
SCU? Does it allow you to
yeah.
put a person in that spot?
I think you should be able to, personally. So, you know, uh, anyways, I think MPUV, I think what they're going to reveal is that the MPUV is a modular platform now.
Mm,
Aegis has its own day. I'm not reading too much into that. Aegis always has its own
mm,
day during ILW because they have a lot of
yep.
ships. But I think the MPU, or sorry, not Aegis. Let me go back to
Is
the first day. Sorry, RSI and Argo are on the same day. So actually, I think on RSI day we're going to get a preview of the Polaris. We're going to get the
you don't
Ursa
think
Rover
you'll?
Medical and the MPUV modular. I think is
Yeah,
what's
that's what I
going to
was
be the
gonna.
big deal.
that- That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Do you think we're just getting both of them the same day?
I think so. Yeah.
I'll put this question out to you then. Can you think of some other ships you think that might be coming because of the modularity? My brain goes to two
New ships or
specifically.
existing ships?
Both.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd like to
What, do
hear
you want me to
yours
tell you
too.
my?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the Apollo, obviously, that's a really,
yeah,
it's probably a little bit early though. I think.
probably.
Um, but the beds, essentially, it's just swapping beds out. Like, it's not a big, complicated module to do compared to
Yeah,
some of the others. And then I think probably the most obvious one of the older ships is the Vanguard.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point. I could see the Vanguard being one that they applied that to. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I personally would love to see them apply modularity to some of the more, what's the best word, general purpose popular ships, and I guess I would call that like the Freelancer, the Cuddy. I would love to see some
Mm.
form of modularities come to those, just because they're very popular ships. A lot of people own them. It would give those players more flexibility. So, for example, I would love to see some sort of long endurance module, or whatever you want to call it, exploration model, even for the Cuddy Black, that really just adds things like extra fuel tanks and longer range
Mm.
to the ship. I don't know
Yeah.
how they would factor that in, but just some of the ships that are in more players' hands, I could see some modularity come into them, so that it gives them a little bit more flexibility,
There's,
especially in the bigger systems like Pyro and stuff.
yeah. I can see where you're going with that, but the other part of it is you've got to look at it from a design perspective. So if you
Yeah,
actually kind of like lay all the ships out in a grid, they've kind of got all these ships falling into particular
yeah,
spaces, and there'd be too much overlap at the moment. And if
yeah,
you took a ship like the Cuddy Black and gave it too much more functionality, they brought out two ships to try and kill the Cutlass because the Freelancer wasn't standing up against it. So that's why we got the
yeah.
Spirit series and we're getting the Zeus series.
Right.
They're definitely pumping those out to kind of squish that a little bit because
Well,
too many Cutlass owners.
and that's the whole thing. These ships now all having variants is very. I can see why they're doing the variants, because it really helps
Hmm.
during the initial ship sale. But I have a feeling that once the ship is released, it's almost better if it was a modular thing. You know what I mean? What would be interesting?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well, Well, some of it, you've looked at the models, right? So some of the ships are modular from a dev point of view, but they're not modular for us. Take the Spirit. That's a clearly modular as hell, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't sell them as modules because, again, it's design. It comes down to design. And at the end of the day, we don't know a lot of the gameplay stuff because it's all in design form.
Yeah.
So we can't know what they know, essentially. But I think you've just got to give them a bit of trust and time to essentially cook it in the oven and trust that they know what they're doing. And I reckon what you said there, though, they will eventually come back to some ships and go, right, this ship is just a bit flat, so let's make this a module so it ups the usage of the ship or whatever.
And I look at it in terms of monetization, right? I mean, in the long run, I know people look at CIG and they say, oh, well, they sell $700 spaceship. Well, yes, they make money off of that, but I promise you, and I know you know this, but I promise you, CIG would make a lot more money selling a lot more cheaper things. Because in volume, they would make microtransactions are where it's at. And if they could sell small modules for ships, not complete do-overs, but even just small modules for ships that change certain aspects to them, you will see tons of money raised because people have are totally okay dropping $40 on something. $20 on something, whatever, then they are spending $600 because they want all three variants of a ship. I think in the long run for monetization of this game, you're going to see CIG eventually lean heavily into microtransactions. I'm not saying that's always a good thing, but I think it'll be good in terms of raising money. Yeah,
I think they learned that from the skins and stuff because they've seen the dollars they make on that shit. Okay, well, I'll put this question back to you then. Where we're on the price of things should be, and I know it's not on the video, but let's talk about the pulse, right? Because that's come up a lot lately. What should again, if that was $10-15, they would sell a truckload because people would buy two instead of one, right? But again, the eternal question comes up, knowing that the ship prices are now getting more expensive, and you look at the Dragonfly and it's $40.
Yeah,
where do you think it's going to land? And there are two of them, by the way, so you got a $5 gap. So if say the default pulse is like 40, the LX will probably be 45 or something like that. Where do you think it'll fall?
I think they're going to come in lower than people expect. I'm expecting the pulses to be maybe at like the $30 mark.
So the way we actually did this question too was to go where do you expect and where do you want it? So that would be my follow up. Where do you want it to be?
The pulse I would want, to be totally frank with you, I think I'd want as a $20 thing. It is what it is. I think it should be a $20 little thing at most. I think they're going to come anywhere between. I think they're going to hit around $30 to $40 with it.
So I'll throw this back at you then.
It's not a Dragonfly.
The Fury, the Aurora, and the Dragonfly are all $40.
Yeah. See.
Sorry. So take that back. Sorry. The Fury is $50. It's $10 more than both of those. Yeah. I still don't understand how the Fury became more expensive than the Aurora, but what?
I don't know. I'm putting this at $20 and $25. If they go higher than that, I'm just going to say go ahead and prepare yourselves for the slew of articles. About CIG charging $60 for a space bike. I'm kind of hoping for 30, 35, and that's me being kind of knowing what CIG would probably go to the bare minimum. But I think realistically, we're going to get like 40, 45. Very similar to what the Aurora and the Dragonfly was. I think that's just because everything's kind of gone up. Yeah. Everyone, real quick in chat. I know we got some people in chat. Through STARJUMP Ender's charity drive for St. Jude's that he's been working on for the last month, he's been giving away 5 custom liveries in Fleet Viewer for a certain dollar amount. Ender, you can put that in the chat, but if you go to that Tiltify link, he'll post that into chat. I think we have 1 left. We've already given away 4 of the custom liveries. There's 1 left. Ender can give you the details in chat. Once we give that one away, we'll have done our 5. Maybe we'll open up 5 more. We'll have to discuss that. We have to kind of regulate how much custom fleet viewer work we do because it is work. Again, it's for charity, so we will try to do it the best we can. But I know there is one currently left. Again, Ender will post. There's that Tiltify link. Go there and donate. I think it's I forget the number. Ender, what's the number for the custom livery charity thing? Either way, we've had a lot of people show up for it, raising a ton of money for St. Jude's. Really cool. So get on that one to make sure I called that out. Here's a question. So the MPUV, if they reform that as a modular ship, do you think they would take the previous SKUs off the store completely, the cargo and the personnel variant, and then just sell it as a base within modules?
I think you'll still be able to get the variant you want at the same price. They'll just essentially make it so in-game it's interchangeable. So if you have one, you can earn the other module and then start using it in-game.
Yeah.
And that'll and think about it in a weird way. That's actually going to encourage people to buy more ships because they're going to like, well, I couldn't afford to buy X, but I can buy the cheaper version now and just earn the modules in game. I think the obvious example is the Retaliator base.
Yeah.
Like that'll just be popular as hell now because it's essentially the cheapest, largest ship in the game.
Which is what I was bringing up earlier when I was discussing Aegis having its own day. Again, I know Aegis always has its own day, but the big highlight for Aegis that day will be the Retaliator and its modules. It'll be interesting to see how they sell that. If it's just you can buy the base only and then the modules from here on out. It'll be interesting to see. I think they should do.
You reckon they'll do a master set? You reckon they'll do a master set with all the modules?
I would like to see that. I'd like to see that. I'd like for them to give maximum flexibility and to give you a cheaper option to get everything if you buy a master set sort of thing. Yeah. I think they do need to do that though, or sell things as the base with and then all the modules separately to sort of get their SKUs in line. That'll probably create a little bit of a mess with Fleet Viewer, but we'll solve it. It'll be interesting to see, what, for example, the base MPUV would then be, and then what those modules will.
I think it's that. I think it's that in the background, because notice how it doesn't have a box. It doesn't have a box on it at all. It just has a tractor beam, military skin, and you can kind of see the two legs. And if you play it a little bit more, it does kind of rotate ever so slightly, and you can just make out the angle of the engine leg there. It could be a cheaper variant, essentially.
Yeah, we saw these also in the Hull C commercial. There was a ton of these MPUVs with the tractor beams running around throughout it, so we've kind of known they were coming. Didn't surprise me when John Crew had it in that video.
And it had them with boxes and without boxes, by the way.
Exactly. And again, the funny thing is the MPUV with the modular system and the tractor beam, they don't speak to Invictus really at all to me, even though this is sort of like a combat supply run or medevac or whatever medevac run.
I totally agree with you, but that is all out the window now because last year they sold the links at Invictus. So that's all out the window, bro.
Totally no. I just saying that this MPUV, the modular one with the tractor beam, this is all because of cargo gameplay coming in the 3.2 whatever X packs. They know this.
It's got a green screen, man. It's got a green skin. It's military.
It's military enough. Slap some camouflage on it, and it's good.
Yeah.
So again, I think 3 guarantees are Ursa, the NERSA medical rover, the what's the other one that day? The MPUV modular MPUV setup from here on out. You can get tractor beam, the personnel carrier, the cargo carrier, possibly more modules. Could be interesting to see what the other modules for that would be. And then obviously I could see a medical module for that. The other thing could be I guarantee
there is a medical theme. I don't know if have you noticed the medical theme? Like there was, the medical Ursa, and there's medical boxes here near the MPUV. So we're wondering if there's some kind of medical theme going through the whole thing.
Progress Tracker has not been updated in a while, but the last time it was active, actor status tier 2 was either in development or closing out development. And if you read the description of it, it talked about advanced medical stuff, including things like cybernetic limbs. I'm not saying that's coming anytime soon, but we do know they were working on it. And if I had to guess, with the thinking surrounding Star Citizen 1.0, I guarantee you medical gameplay is going to be part of that wish list of
Agreed.
things that Richard Tyre and Chris Roberts has out for SC 1.0. Hey Griff, hope you're well, buddy. Salute to you. I really hope to see you. Equinox, hope you're coming.
Griff is going to understand now why I left the Discord. I was in his Discord talking to him, and then I came here to talk to you. Hey, Griff, nice to see you.
I think there could be something medical on the horizon, though. I don't think that's completely out of the realm when you consider things like the NERSA coming on board. We know the Apollo's in development. We have seen things like medical hover gurneys being worked on a year or so ago. I think it's and I do think that's probably the part of the SC 1.0 plan. I really do.
There is one last thing in this trailer I want to look at, and there's a scene where the Polaris is kind of going past a crowd that's kind of close to the camera.
Yeah.
And I know I just want to kind of ask your opinion if you think I'm correct or incorrect. But in that particular scene, you appear to be able to make out the docking port. Yep. Now, in the schematics or whatever you want to call the last time we looked at them, it was a regular, like a small docking port, not the large one. Yep. But it now looks like a large one. So I wonder if they've upped it, so to speak. And I just want to get your opinion on that, if you wouldn't mind indulging me.
Yeah, where am I looking here? Are we talking right around here?
I'll have to wait because I'm 20 seconds behind.
Okay, sorry. So I think this area here in the middle, and I'm running my mouse over it a few times. I think that's
that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's the one.
That's interesting. I was thinking that was the door to the turret, but
it's kind of got like two little arrows pointing left, and then two on the other side pointing right. That's what I thought was the docking.
It definitely could be. It definitely could be. My only concern about the docking collar being that far back is it actually would place it. No, I think I would actually place it where it's supposed to be, wouldn't it? Because the docking collar is on one of the right turn angles around the corner of the hangar. So
yeah, it was on that side. So it was on that side, and it basically was really close to the brig.
Yeah.
So you can bring people. So if a ship docks with it, can just put people straight in the brig, essentially.
Yeah, I could see that being that. Yeah. I really would hope they have updated that to be obviously the capital docking collar, the same one as the Hammerhead has. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. Those are pretty ubiquitous. Like you see the same collar on the Idris, on the Javelin, Hammerhead. No, those are all Aegis ships, but I'm sure RSI shares the same. So I would hope that's the case. I guess the MISC has a different shaped door, and it can still do docking collars. So RSI might have its own design, but I have no doubt you're going to be able to dock this thing at a docking collar.
And they did talk about the ones that could do both sizes, so I wonder, because again, I go back to that original schematic, and it was clearly a smaller one, right?
Yeah.
And I go. So, and I even said it would be cool if it was one of those multi-function ones. So I look at this and I kind of hope it is multi-function, because like I can see, say, something like a Cutlass Blue or an Avenger Stalker with people in the pods like rocking up, or people they've captured and putting them into the thing. I think this is kind of a bit of a sleeper bounty hunter base ship,
Oh yeah.
Just because of the brig and the ability to land those ships I was just talking about in the hangar and refuel them and shit.
And we got Starlet and Kusanagi in chat. Starlet, I hope you're well. Kusanagi, nice to see you. One thing I'll say about this is that is the big thing that stood out to me was the change in turrets once again. The ship has had more turret changes than probably any ship I've seen, and wildly all over the place. So its original concept had very small guns. Then those got bumped up. Then during the Inside or Finding the North Star episode of ISC, they grown to a monstrous size. They look like they had size 7s on the top, and then on the rear. Then we saw a preview of the ship at CitizenCon last year when they did the white box playthrough, and the turrets had shrunk back down a little bit, and the rear turret, the rear top dual turret, had been totally removed and replaced with the missile turret.
Yep.
And some of the turrets had been replaced with quad turrets. Yep. So on this newer version, we once again see that the turrets have shrunk down a little bit. They're not as big as they were in that Finding the North Star episode. If you go back and watch that, they're nowhere near as big. And you know,
you got to think it's a little bit dictated by what they want each turret to do. Is it an offense or is it a defense? Now I put this question to you, and you can answer in whatever you way in, because it's just speculatory. But I'd almost say the turrets on this are very defensive, because again, if using that spear thrust mentality they talk about in the concept, isn't the main primary offensive weapon of this the torpedoes?
It is.
You come in, you strike, and if the shit hits the fan, okay, turrets are going, let's go.
Yeah,
that's my thought process. But you tell me what you think.
I definitely agree. I think CIG want to position this more as a torpedo boat. Now, there are some people that are angry about that description, because one of the original descriptions of the ship in its original concept sort of brief was that it was a versatile ship that could take on all kinds of engagements. I think CIG wants to probably pivot away from that a little bit, take it more into the torpedo boat side of things, and start looking at their ships that way, where they have the Perseus as the brawler gunner, the heavy gunner, the Hammerhead is the light fighter defense ship, the Polaris is the torpedo boat, the Nautilus is the mine ship, and there would be overlap for sure, but I'm just saying that the
reason,
you know.
Sorry, the reason I'm like that is technically they're in a different class. So the Perseus, the Nautilus, and the Hammerhead are all in the same class. This is actually in the same class as the Odyssey.
You're right. It is a step above. That's right. That's true.
Yeah. So I think there's some ships there, and I can talk to this actually. I've kind of got proof and evidence. John Crew, he talked to a couple of people at the after party last year, and someone was overhearing him talking to someone, and they just turned around and said to John Crew, "What does that mean, that there's a Drake Corvette coming?" And he looked at them with the big, and I've heard this smile described by like 4 different people. They said with the biggest, smirkiest, trolly smile on his face, he goes, "Yes, it does." So that just tells me that there are other Corvettes coming.
Yeah, well, I actually think that Drake would probably be a manufacturer they switch to, maybe not directly after RSI, but probably after whatever manufacturers after RSI.
He also said that was still in talks, and they said they've been tossing between Anvil, Misk. They were the two that he's. But again, there's no reason it's going to be Drake either.
Yeah. I could easily see it being Misk. They probably got probably the most ships to catch up on.
But he's scared of that Endeavor, man. He has a heart attack every time I mention it to him. But
here's the thing though, once modularity's squared away, which that apparently works, they're going to redesign the Endeavor from scratch anyway. That's got to happen.
I agree.
So when that happens, he'll be able to redo the Endeavor to his liking.
Yep.
And to me, what it needs to be is a modular Odyssey, essentially. But going back to the Polaris real quick, a couple little things I did notice. Obviously the side turrets are internal now, really cool. It's got 2 top turrets up here, 1 nose turret. Again, there was a lot of people suspecting that this nose turret was going to be a size 7. I don't think that's the case at all anymore. Based off what I'm seeing here, if I had to guess, I think these are all size 5s.
Yeah, now, I was expecting 5s and 6s somewhere in that ballpark.
I think they're dual size 5s. The only thing I'm very curious about is these side turrets. I'm actually now starting to think, in order for the turrets to fit into the side, I think they've gone smaller with the turrets, but they're quad mounts now. So
you're a fan of the Kraken, so you know they're all 5s and 6s on that as well. So that's on par, right? So I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, minus the Kraken's size 8, but obviously this has torpedoes in
the
and then we have obviously the big missile battery for this on the rear of the ship, which actually makes a lot of sense for the missile battery to be on the rear. Actually, I really like that.
So you don't think the missile battery is a turret on top anymore?
It is a turret on the top, but it's at the rear. They actually show it in the trailer. Did you notice it? It's I've
probably forgotten.
Does it show it here? Yeah, right there. See it? You're on a lag, of course. But I'll hold the thing.
Yep. Give me a second.
It's the tiny square missile launcher turret. It looks kind of small, but that's what it is. It's not it doesn't have barrels on it. You can see it's right in between the 2 main thrusters on the back rear.
I'm still waiting.
Oh, sorry. God, I just flew off of it, but you'll still see it.
Yep. Oh, yep. Oh, that's actually quite a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Oh.
I
So
ran
it's
off
backwards
of
facing. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
backwards facing missile turret. So yeah. Let's see what else. So I personally think it's really cool that they're putting the Polaris in as a flyby. I think for us here at StarJump, it's awesome because we'll be able to put the updated Polaris into Fleet Viewer, which is always great. Because we'll be able to rip it. So. And yes,
I do have one other
is
ship.
better than every other ship in the game. That is true. Can't be denied.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Gavin Rothery said so himself, damn it. Okay, it's the best ship.
Do you think they're going to sell the M7A Mark II? I know we got a free CCU from the C to the A, but that doesn't mean they can't not sell the A directly at Invictus.
That's a great question. I think this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think they should sell the F7A Mark II, but it should be the full. It should be a substantial amount over the F7C. And then that way, the people that played through the Overdrive event are essentially getting a massive discount on the F7A Mark II because they're getting the token that just upgrades the C. And then the people that want to outright buy the F7A Mark II, they'll have to pay that premium. I'm okay with that. Again, I'm of the mindset that I want CIG to make money to make this damn game.
Well, that's what they're doing this year. They're essentially raising money for marketing for Squadron 42, but by the math me and Algrid looked at it, it's only like $15 to $20 value.
Right.
That's that free CCU.
Okay.
And that's just based on the components and what it actually gives you over the sea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you can justify it being like $50, for example.
Yeah. And if it's not a lot of money, then it probably wouldn't sit super well with me, to be totally honest with you. Or make it a timed based thing, right? Let the people that did the Overdrive event get the F7A Mark II, and then 6 months down the road it goes on for sale during IAE or something. That way the Overdrive people got it early. Give them that advantage. I think that would be totally fine. And I don't think the people that didn't participate in the Overdrive, I don't think that would bother them as well. I think they would go, you know what? Hey, I didn't participate. Fine. I'll get it at the end of this year when I can just buy it outright. So.
I can see that.
Couple other things I noticed about the ship just right off the bat. Again, obviously a lot of Greeble detail here that we've never seen before. To me, one of the biggest things I'm excited to see about the ship is what they've done with the nose bridge area. That is another part of the ship that has received massive amount of changes throughout development, all the way from the original reconcepting and finding the North Star to then later the Sitcon white box video, which changed the nose in some ways that I had some problems with. And in this trailer, it looks like they maybe adjusted the bridge and the nose canopy again, and I think it's looking a lot better. It could just be that there's extra geometry on there. That's something I'll be looking out for. One of the things here, I'm just going to scroll to the back of the ship, and I know you're on a delay here, but some of this internal lighting they have, these little backwards antennas with the little lights they had. We've never seen this type of detail before on the Polaris, again, because it was always a painted, oversimplified model. Really nice attention to detail there. And one of the nice things about seeing this level of detail is this speaks to what these other RSI ships will be like, because we know they're pulling from these library files of assets. That doesn't always apply to externals, I get, but what it's going to give us is a sense of how they view these newer large RSI ships.
That's one of the things CIG worked on a lot, was actually their kind of texturing technology and stuff like that, because most games don't have as many kind of alpha channels and allow you to put as many layered textures on stuff. And the funny thing was, the people that have moved on from CIG, that has now trickled down into other developers now. There are now other people using the same tricks. So it's good to see that tech's getting around to other industries. Other developers, I should say.
Another cool thing, again, just noticing details I thought was pretty cool. cool is the little winglets here on the side. In the Sitcon white box video, we did see those animate, and that's something I've always hoped that they would have fully animated when the ship is changing states. And it looks like they've kept that through. You can actually see the circular hinges here on the winglets, hinting towards their ability to fold down and fold back up. Because if they didn't, there would be no...
It's probably how it steers and rolls and stuff. So, like, as you roll the ship, that's going to look mad.
It's going to look really cool, yeah.
If they do a small RSI ship, I hope they kind of use that on a smaller one. You know,
I'd love to see that. To me, those little winglets, because they go out in like an X formation, kind of have like Scorpius vibes, but obviously smaller stuff. So,
yeah, true. Very true.
But yeah, that's about it for the show. I am going to have to go. But any other thoughts you had on ILW ships? Do you think we're going to get any surprises? Because they've already got kind of a full roster, but they are smaller ships. Do you think we're going to get a medium ship of any type?
I think the one that we talked about a lot of the ships in that yellow silhouette video. The one that kind of could be a bit of a sleeper is the Mirai Guardian. So I again,
that's the heavy fighter,
I don't know. Right? Yeah. There's something clearly missing though. Like there's essentially in this video you've got two very small ships, and if you look at like last year we did have a very lean offering.
Yeah, we did.
But even then we had 3 things last year. We don't even have 3 things.
Right. Well, and CIG did come out and say that Mirai heavy fighter is not part of Invictus. Did you see that? Did you see it was a CIG dev on Reddit came out and said that. I think it may have been Xyla. Actually said that
when was this recently? Or?
Yeah, very recently. Within the last week. Just search for it. You might find it. But yeah, I think it was Xylo, or maybe it was on Spectrum, commented that the Mirai heavy fighter, in the way they phrased it was this. They said, we have never confirmed that to be, something like we have never confirmed that to be a ship and it will not be at Invictus. Because people were talking about that ship. And yes, Ward, I know Ender just answered you, but yes, the Polaris, it's just a flyby. I don't think this ship is anywhere near ready. Yes, they said a while back that the exterior had hit load 0, which is the highest level of detail, but they were just saying that, certain parts of the interior had reached gray box and finalized and some final art. But you got to remember, these ships then have to go to the downstream teams. That includes audio, VFX, and other groups.
Is he talking about this? Is he talking about the Zeus?
Polaris. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we had people ask about the Zeus, but technically speaking, the Spirits last year didn't finish until June, and yes, they're in polish, but as you just said, they've got all those other states to do. Yeah. So they'll probably finish about June, but they didn't come out until CitizenCon. I think the thing I will leave this on though is that they said there is a straight to flyable ship. We don't have that. And straight-to-flyable ships don't count variants. So the MPU-V and the Ursa are technically both variants. So there is definitely something else coming, and they've kept it a very good, closely guarded secret.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to think, and I had long thought that possibly it will be the Apollo, but I'm pretty convinced it's not the Apollo now. For one, it's a known ship, so I think it actually would have been hinted to in the trailer a little bit.
Yep, agreed.
And they're already kind of stacked for that. Okay, Yo-Yo Meg just posted in chat. She said, Xylo on Reddit says, sorry that leaks got your hopes up. This isn't a ship we've confirmed, and it's certainly not coming to Invictus. They were referring to the Mirai heavy fighter in that discussion. So, thank you, Yo-Yo. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
so, I mean, because Xylo would be lying. Sure, but I doubt it. This regard. They got enough controversy and crap that they deal with. But, anyways,
so being straight to flyable though, it's just something we've never seen, and I would argue it was never on that silhouette video to keep it a secret.
Yeah, I mean,
because most of the stuff on that video was stuff that we kind of already knew about. There was only a couple, like the pulse bikes we pretty much knew about straight away because they were on at the end of the document, the brochure. Again, there's only really the 2 on there that we kind of didn't, Ursa Medivac, most people guessed almost straight away. Excuse me. It was just that RSI or whatever manufacturer, the small one. That's the only one on there that was of any mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really kind of left in the dark right now. I don't have any clue what it could be. Again, there's things I've
Mm,
speculated on, but we'll just have to see how it all turns out. I'm excited for this
mm,
ILW. I actually do
mm,
think some ships like the Idris and Javelin will possibly be big sellers again
mm,
with CIG just recently mentioning that those the Idris will go flyable with Squadron 42 and then Javelin after that.
mm,
I think they'll be popular is what I'm saying, because whenever
yeah.
CIG sort of dangles that glimmer of hope in your eye that a ship
Mm,
is not too far out, I think it will
yep.
sell. So I think it's going to be a
Mm.
big
Um,
Invictus for them.
just to what people are saying in chat,
Yep.
also, technically speaking, the pulse is in the patch. It's not in the .x patch.
Right.
So that means the pulse is technically coming with the patch, not coming with
Yep.
Invictus launch week.
Yeah, and the Pulse will probably have as soon as mid this week. They actually said that 323
Yeah.
is targeted for early this week. So I think the
Yeah.
Pulse, we could get the Pulse tomorrow. We could get it tomorrow. It's
I,
possible.
I wonder, I'm just going back to your little ship pack idea. Maybe that
Yep.
new ship works in the Polaris. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe. Yeah. There's no telling. Yeah. Cool. Well, I got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Execute. It was awesome talking to you, dude. Glad you jumped in, and it was always fun to
Yeah.
talk ships with you. I'm sure we'll have some
Yeah.
discussions as ILW rolls on.
Yep.
Because obviously you
I
know
might
I
get,
like
I might
to
get
talk
a,
ships.
well, I might get you to come along for one of the episodes during
Sure, hit me up.
Invictus. It's been too long though, man. Like I was just literally thinking yesterday, I got to catch up with Grim and have a
Yes,
chat. But yeah,
it's been a while. We'll definitely have to get together and talk some more.
Mm.
Life has been kicking my ass. It's been rough. So real quick, everyone, don't forget, I'll be at Equinox June 1st. Stop by. I got a big STARJUMP booth planned. Lots of work is going into it. There's going to be free posters and stickers. There's going to be a raffle that we're doing. All kinds of
Yeah.
cool stuff. So yeah, if you're in Columbus, Ohio, June 1st, buy some tickets to
Mm.
Equinox. It's going to be a huge event. Pretty sure CIG is going to be there. They're aiming for over 300 people. JRDF is going to be there. Toby Eye Tracker, all a bunch of big partners are going in on it. So yeah, hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week. Execute. I'll go watch your latest video, but thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
It's pretty much what we just talked about. But yeah, feel free.
Good. You just got round two.
Yeah. Craigon says there.
yeah.
Jared has said that he pretty much that the Pulse is that new straight flyable vehicle.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, that
Okay.
is interesting then, because that goes against what they normally do with the patches.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. It'll be interesting to see what. But that's also a very light. If it's
It
just
is.
the Pulse, the NERSA, and the MPUV, that is an extremely lean.
But I'll tell you this:
Invictus.
that doesn't mind. I don't mind that. I don't mind when it's a light event, when we know that part of the reason it's probably a light event for ships going flyable especially is because they've got so many big ships in the hopper. And when you consider the Polaris,
Yeah.
all three Zeuses, and also they're probably doing pre-production work on the Galaxy, and possibly even the Perseus. Maybe they've got their hands full, and
Well,
I would
what happened-
imagine they're doing last minute Squadron 42 ship support leading up to Squadron
Yeah.
42's eventual release.
Just that it just kind of makes it like last year where the back end was loaded type of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah,
there was more stuff at the end than there was at the beginning. So it's probably the same again, where we're just going to get more shit at the end and less at the beginning.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
everyone, everyone in chat, thanks for hanging out. Prite, hopefully you caught some of this live stream. I know it was kind of a random one, but I'll probably be on again this week. So keep a lookout. Follow the channel if you haven't already. Follow our YouTube channel. Follow the Twitter, because that's where I post all the latest STARJUMP stuff. Obviously, follow me here on Twitch if you don't mind. Go to Ender's Tiltify link if you haven't already. I'm sure you can post that again. Donate to St. Jude's, doing great work over there. And until next time, you'll probably see me again this week. Execute. Hope you stay well, buddy. We are going to raid Papa Juggernaut. We're going to raid Papa Juggernaut. He sent me some raids, so we're going to return the favor. We got a Kraken flying by. Who Execute? Execute. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that. All right.
No worries.
Really appreciate it. Here we go. We're going to raid Papa Juggernaut. Give him some STARJUMP love. Say hello to him. He's a good dude. He's raided me multiple times. Met him on Info. No, I met him on Yacht Club. Maybe I can't remember where I met him. But yeah, go give him some love. Everyone, have a good night. Salute to you. Talk to you soon. Execute. Take it easy, buddy.
See you, mate.